Kindred, your presence here violates the agreement between our leaders. Leave now, or face the consequences of your actions. There is an alliance between your leader LaCroix and Mistress Ming Zhao. You violate the agreement. If you do not leave, we are not responsible for your death. We'll give you one more chance to leave this place and keep your life. You will go? The time for decisions has passed. We Chang brothers accept your life graciously.
My Wunderkind returns. In my entire court, I knew there was only one who could have succeeded in this task. Finally, the Ankaran sarcophagus is ours. Come, I've granted Beckett's request to study and document all the markings of the sarcophagus. You've met Beckett, haven't you? Let's go take a look inside and see what the commotion around the city has really been all about. What have you assessed so far?
Unfortunately for the Heralds of Doom, it appears we won't be opening Pandora's box. The markings, as far as I can tell, are of Assyrian origin. An extraordinary piece, but nothing earth-shattering.
I see. Then there is no good reason why we shouldn't open it. Won't budge. Beckett, do you see any mechanism for the lid?
I haven't as yet had a chance to pore over it with my fine-tooth comb. I think I have one in my bag.
Why won't it open, Beckett? And you, I thought you said it looked as if it had been opened on the Dane. I want it open! You and Beckett, figure out a way to open it. I need to know what's inside. I have other matters to attend to. Come get me when a solution has been found.
Ah, the depths to which I'll sink to prove others wrong. The young ones get so temperamental. Fortunately for Sebastian, is it? I'd already made up my mind to open the sarcophagus, if only to show the city that Gehenna, contrary to popular belief, has not begun. Oh, yes, how foolish of me. That would be the sound, reasonable course of action. A priceless piece of history, by all means. Run out and pick up some TNT. How have you gotten this far? Here's what we're going to do. I know of someone who can help. His name is Dr. Anders Johansen, a professor of archaeology from Norway. He was the one responsible for finding the sarcophagus, and as far as I know, the only authority on its origin and design. Until yesterday, he could have been found in his suite at the Empire Hotel downtown. But when I stopped by earlier this evening, all I found was spilt coffee on a morning paper. Appears he's been abducted. I detected the scent of myrrh incense, which is usually burned in monasteries. Also, I found beach sand in part of a muddy footprint. Putting two and two together, I located a monastery near a beach in Malibu, where I believe hunters are holding Johansen captive. Actually, there were 2 hunters on the roof of the building opposite the hotel who were positively delighted to tell me everything they knew, provided I stopped dangling them head first over the side. No, only the stupid and careless get caught by hunters. They serve their purpose in the natural order. The hunters abducted Dr. Johansen for his own protection, or at least that's how they've justified it. He's being held by the Society of Leopold and used, quite ingeniously, as bait for Prince LaCroix's minions. You'll have to go to the monastery and find a way into the tunnels beneath, where the hunters are holding Johansen. I'm afraid I can't accompany you, but then it's best you go alone. Too many of us might set them off, like fundamentalists on contrary opinion. I'd recommend no other course of action to the foolhardy. I wouldn't recommend walking. Certainly Sebastian's already provided cab fare. I'm sure he always spares no expense when archaeology is at stake. Excellent. The Society, for the most part, knows very little about us, but they do know how to kill and torture us, and that's enough. Also, some of them exhibit powers that can make them quite formidable. Best not to announce yourself. Well, if we open it up and the world ends, then yes. If we open it up and the world does not end, then no. I'd wager the latter. How any sane kindred could think these poor unfortunates are an immediate threat to us is absurd. Most were afraid, or at the very least uneasy, around me. Tragic. Their desperation could very well hold the spark of revolution, however. I've said quite a lot about myself already. I know even less about you than you do me. Why don't you tell me about yourself? Then I'll let you in on a little secret. Beckett may not be the name I was born with. Events always seem to unfold wherever I go, like Chicago a few years ago. Oh, it's a bother to explain. Either I'm pursuing fate, or it's got a bone to pick with me. Unless you've got further questions, I'd really like to get back to looking at the sarcophagus. Remember, Dr. Johansson is an innocent. He has no idea we actually exist. Try not to put the idea in his head.
Did you find a way to open the sarcophagus? I can't have my protege looking plebeian, can I? You'll find I can be very generous towards those who serve me well. Point made. Which is... Traditionally, the Kuei Jin have stayed in Asian territory, and the kindred Europe, and later North America. But recently, they invaded the West Coast, killing off a substantial number of anarchs. They lack the organization of the Camarilla, and think nothing of breaking the masquerade. Though we share similar traits, there is no fraternity between us. We embrace. They rise from the grave. They do not know the pleasure of blood. They are without clan. And oh yes, they believe our kind to be inferior. They are as much of a threat as the wolves. Werewolves. I can still recall a time when cities were surrounded by miles of forests full of the beasts. But progress has taken care of that problem. Which is... If you didn't take the time to ask, perhaps we'd know by now. As I mentioned before, my concern is that it pertains something supernatural. Though Beckett has waived this theory altogether. The city is alight with dread. Perhaps it's an antediluvian. A joke? The antediluvians are the mythical progenitors of each of the clans for whom they trace their bloodlines, and according to mythology, descendants of Cain, the legendary first vampire. As in the biblical Cain and Abel? Before you put too much stock in it, realize that the Church and all of its mythos are blends of kindred and mortal meddling, whips to regulate weak minds. This is all Beckett's field of expertise. If you want a lesson, merely ask him.
I'm sorry there, but Mr. LaCroix, he told me not to let anybody up right now. He sounded kind of PO'd. Must be all the late nights he's working. Anyhow, I can't let you go see him right now. Sorry. Mr. LaCroix was real specific. Maybe if you come back later, he'll calm down. He seems to be all tore up about that sarcophagus that got stolen from a museum. Must be a real history lover. Not supposed to open the doors for anyone. Sorry. Hey there, Chief.
Hop in.
Come on. How is Bruno?
Might as well be a costume party. Everyone's smiling, pretending this isn't a pageant put on by the patriarch of this family. Fine. But this is a contest, and I came to win. If you don't even know about the contest, then you really don't have to worry about winning it.
I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm starting to...
Given that opportunity some thought? Hear anything interesting?
Sorry, you can't come in here right now. There's a meeting in progress. If you have business with Bruno, it'll have to wait.
Disgraziato.
Please, asshole!
Sorry, you can't come in here right now.
Hey, who's there?
Hey, stop right there.
Who's there? What? Hey, I heard something. Who's there? Who's there? What? Hey, you! Stop!